Hey guys, what's up? This is Isaac. This is part 4 of the motorcycle build. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you the parts that I bought this week for the bike. So, on my last week video, I installed the brakes, but I didn't know how bad my brake pads were until I actually bought a new pair of them. So on Amazon, I'll put it in the link in the description, and I'll put like a photo up here of my Amazon order. I'll just fill the whole screen right now with what these are. These are the new brakes, and holy crap. Mine were about 1/4% of what they're supposed to be, so we're replacing all 6, because I have 2 in the front, 2 calipers in the front, 1 in the back, so 6 brake pads. I got a new headlight bulb, and I'll put that link in the description, and I'll pop that up here. And then I got this light. Now this is, if you type in LED headlight for motorcycle 5 3/4 size, it is the #1 rated headlight right now on Amazon. It's like the #1 gross product, like everyone's buying it that has a Harley. Now this is a Honda. As long as you buy the same size, as long as it's the same size, you can cut the connector off and you can adjust it, which I'll show you guys next. Okay, so let's get to installing all these parts. Okay guys, so we're at the front of the bike. As you can tell, I don't know if you guys can see that, my speedometer does not have this little wire here. All this wire really does is spin, but you got this little flat part in here, which I'll show you guys closer. I'll show you guys the easiest way I found, because if you just stick it and just put it in there, it's not gonna get connected properly, because there's a two-prong in between there. And if you don't connect that properly, then it obviously is not going to do anything and not tell you the speed, and you're most likely going to get pulled over because it's going to say 0 miles an hour. Okay guys, so on this bike we have this little like thing that hangs out in the tire that moves, and you have a pin in here. I don't know how well you guys can see in there. So you got that little pin right here. It's like a flat rod, and we're going to slide our part in. But the easiest way I found to do it is to take the end that goes into the speedometer, push that all the way down. That way this end sticks way out, and we're gonna pull it out a little bit. We're gonna bring it back down here, line it up as best we can, and we're gonna slide that onto the speedometer wire like so, so it stays there by it, and it's slid on there. We're gonna carefully push it in all the way until it seats, and you can feel where it stops. And then all you need to do is install the screw. Okay guys, so once you get your screw in there, you should be able to give it a pull, and it shouldn't come out. My bike under the caliper has a little spot for this to slide into, so that way it doesn't slide around all over the place. And now we're going to take our other end, which goes to my speedometer right here, and I'm going to feed it behind the triple tree, screwed on like so. We're gonna tie this wire up better because I don't like how it flops around by that tire. But for testing purposes, we're gonna keep it like that for right now. Okay guys, so if you're putting these on a bike that has a little bit bigger forks, because apparently these are a little bit bigger than the Harley forks, which I really don't believe. They say these are made to fit 31mm to 39mm, if I'm correct. If I'm not correct, I'll put that right here. So when you put these on your bike, don't mind that. I'm gonna zoom in. I already put this one on. This one fits nice, but what I had to do is I had to make some adjustments to the actual part. So we're gonna take our long piece and our small piece here, and we're going to put it on the bike like the other side where it's facing up. See how it like has sort of a bend to it? We're going to face it up so it's facing this direction. And when you put it on, right before you put it on, you want to put this part into these slots. You guys can see those slots. So we're going to bring that around, and we're going to slide this into that second one, because obviously we want the bigger size. And when you try and bring it together, there's like this huge gap in between here, which the screws they give you, it's way too small. So I'm like, let's try something different. I'm like, let's take our smaller piece here, grab like a vice grips or like pliers, and we're gonna make this a little bit bigger. We're gonna take the whole part that fits into the other part, not the slot part. We're gonna take that, tighten down on it, like so. And all you're going to do, what I did is I just put on the floor like this, and then pushed up and rolled it. That way it only bends this part. We're just going to do it just a little bit. So then you get kind of more of a flat design look. That way you get more of like a flat look to it. So we're going to try this again. Put this back on here, put it in the second rung. Get you guys a better view here. Now we still have a little bit of distance. So what we're going to do is you're going to grab your vice grips or your pliers, and I'm just going to come at the bottom of it here. We're just going to pull on it just a little bit. Try and get it to bend a little bit. What you don't want to do is you don't want to bend the flat part. Okay guys, so once you've bent your part, we're going to try it for a second time now. We're going to bring back our part for our headlight. We'll put that on first. Then we're going to put it in the second rung. And we're going to bring it together. And now it's a lot closer. It's still pretty far apart, but it's quite a ways away. So we're going to grab our pliers, which this one you can kind of lock in. So I would say you guys should have like a vice grips. You're going to grab the bottom of it, put the vice grip action on, and you're going to get it real close where now I can barely put my finger in the center. Okay, now we're going to grab our screws, and our bolt and our nut. Bolt's not very long, and then we have a locking nut. Okay guys, so when I was doing this, I had a problem meeting the holes together, so I grabbed a screwdriver just with a flat end, and I fed it through, and I pushed up on it just a little bit, and that seemed to have brought it down so I can access it more. So now we're going to grab our bolt and our nut, take our bolt, obviously, put it in there. Now, when you're clamping down on this, you want to be more towards the high side. That way you can insert the bolt and the nut as far all the way to the flat, because like if you have the vice grip all the way down to the bottom, you're not going to be able to put your bolt through because it's going to hit the vice grip. We're going to need to go a little bit tighter. There we go. I'm going to snug that up just a little bit. And take our vice grip off now. And now that's installed. So instead of futzing around trying to find the right size one, which I should have done, I decided to go this way. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it all the way up. Now it's a little bit stuck too, because now it's a smaller size. And we're going to try and get it to the other one, where the other one's at. So I'm going to get a tape measure and measure from this fork. Okay guys, so now I have my mounts for my headlight bulb put in place. So what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out really where they need to be. They're at the same spot right now according to where the triple tree is and where they're located. We're going to take our headlight bulb and we're going to take the bolts out the side, we're going to install it, and then we're going to figure out where it needs to be, if it needs to go up or down. And then we're kind of just going to keep it level towards the road. So let's try that. Now another thing worth mentioning, if your headlight bulb does not come with a regular washer, a locking washer, and then somewhat of a rubber gasket. That way the rubber like kind of gets rid of some of that vibration from the forks. So if you don't, I would recommend installing some sort of rubber washer to kind of like dampen the amount of vibration to your headlight, because if you're driving on the road, it's just going to bounce the whole time. It's just going to annoy you and the rest of the drivers on the road. So would kind of recommend doing that, but most of them come with it, so I wouldn't really worry about it. We're just going to snug them up. And try and get it centered as best as possible. What I would recommend is I'm going to stand behind the camera and I'm going to like figure out what looks square to the most. We're pretty good on height level for the gauge clusters, but other than that, that looks pretty good. So I'm still going to keep these loose because obviously I have to adjust my headlight, but we have that installed and that should be good to go.